last year, there was a much more persistence on washing your hands, using hand sanitizer, distancing, uh, masking, and there was, much more of not only discussion, but institutional policies regarding those things. And then, they did some things that were, that we now know are sort of over the top, probably not very useful, like putting up all those plastic partitions on the desk and stuff like that, without recognizing that aerosolized spray can travel just the same way that smoke does and go around plastic barriers and that kind of thing. But this year, we've gone from one extreme basically to the other, so to speak. And we know that this particular variant has been holding steady, BA5, holding steady, still the most predominant one. And I think it's going to be the most predominant one for the longest length of time. I wish I could see like a whole year of those charts, the CDC charts of the variant tracker charts. But I think right now it is a contender for being around the longest in terms of the percentage of cases that are due to that particular variant. So as we go, so here we are, end of August, going into September. Cold and flu season will be upon us as we head into late October, November, December. We've got everything is, pretty much gone from one extreme to the other, where there's no mask mandates or everything is optional. We have people are gathering in large crowds again. We know that football season, as well as football, basketball season around the corner. Stadiums are open. People will be going to stadiums, and people are notorious for not washing their hands when they use the bathroom in stadiums. And kids are going back to school with and with this new rule or new policy that you only need to wear a mask if you're positive, and there's really no means to really check that or monitor that as far as we can see. I've not heard anything about that, or what they're not doing anything at Chicago Tech. They're not. And then Hinsdale South, another school that I'm familiar with, I'll get a chance to ask them more specifically what it is that they plan to do. So pretty much, if you're a parent and you're responsible for some teen or young person that's going to school, it's going to be pretty much every man or child for themselves. And I think that it will start with teaching your children the 7 F's and an R, but also hopefully helping them to develop a cohort of young people around them who are also following the protocols. And that's where I got extremely lucky this year with my son, because he'll be going to school with 3 other teenage boys who are also wear ionizers, use skin guard, and and are pretty faithful about using it in all situations where they're with other people outside of their household. I don't know, are there any questions about, anybody raising any questions? So Carol says, I think it's different with every state. I did not hear any mention of COVID protocol or anything here at the beginning of school. I heard nothing about them talking about masks or anything. So what state are you from, Carol? because in your state, it's like they're not even talking about it.
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Oh, yeah. Well, they were notorious. I have my girlfriend lives in Nashville, and she was when I saw her uh, last year. She was talking about how notorious it was in Tennessee about people weren't wearing masks, people weren't doing anything. Um, it's the middle of the Bible Belt, so they were quick. Any other states?
Hi, Dr. Blessman.
Yes. Hi.
Hi, this is Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
So we're in Houston, Texas. My son just started his freshman year at the University of Houston.
Okay.
So he's in these big auditorium classrooms with like 300 and something students.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you there's no mask in sight. So, you know, in his mind, it's like COVID is no longer. And I've just kind of, just given up on, So it's like, what can I do? What can I put into your head to make you keep this mask on? In this classroom on this campus with, 20,000 students, 300 and something students in, auditorium for an hour and a half, student center. They're just out there. They're just out there doing it,
Yeah. Well, with when I'm going to talk with my teenage boys a little more, because their mom has actually done a good job of training them to use their ionizers, and they seem to like that better because it's not like a mask. It's kind of like, and people do ask about what it is that they have around their neck, and and they have those like that cool, the one that looks like headphones. So they have that, and they have something that's similar to an air chamber, but they have like something that hangs around their neck.
Can you put it in the chat too?
Okay, I can do that. So that, because I think part of, for kids and for young people, being able to see the social cues of one's face and is important. And for African American men, having an option that does not cover their face, because people treat them like they're scary anyway. And so there's been all kinds of issues about them wearing a mask from the start of this pandemic. So, having an option that keeps them safe without them having to put on a mask is good. The auditorium, I would be concerned about an auditorium size classroom too, because that's like being in it might be a bigger space than an airplane. It's that many people for what, a couple of, even if it's for an hour and a half or a 2-hour class. It might be a 3-hour class, depending on what it is. That's a lot of people to be in a room with, even in an auditorium. I don't know whether universities have upgraded their HVAC systems to purify the air that's going through there. I have not heard of any, schools doing that, any major schools doing that. So I think that would be a useful option, is to just they just wear an ionizer. I don't think I personally don't think it's that big of a deal to put on ionizer and use a skin guard every day. But then I've been doing that for the last year. So so it's a daily habit for me. So it's not a big deal because it's a daily habit for me. It's not a daily habit for folks who are doing it for the first time.
So then my other question, so like his doctor recommended him for that pneumonia vaccine. I talked to you about it before.
The Pneumovax for.
Yeah. Because he's, like susceptible. And so between, we're going to probably go get that next week. And then you have this brand new booster coming out. What's your thoughts on this new booster?
Um, I'm reserving any judgment about it yet until I talk to a few more people. And in fact, I want to have somebody, a medical person, come in and talk about that specific issue. And my first reaction is it's got to be, well, it looks like BA5 is holding. And so if it's a booster that's based on BA5, um, then it may have some good utility. Um, but I really would like to I really want to try to get a medical professional in to come in and talk about that. I do know that I just found out that Novavax is out. It can be requested, and there was a website to help you to locate it. This is the vaccine that should be a lot safer platform than the mRNAs. I want to do a little bit more research on that one, the Novavax, and I want to see if they've included in the Novavax, if they've included in their serum any antibody potentials against B5, the new variant, because I might go that route.
And you can get the Novavax if you had the Pfizer 2 dose.
Yes,
2 doses.
yes, absolutely. And I will put it in the link. Or I try to put it in the link. Because it's not like they're not making it real easy to find it. You have to but there is a website that you can go to. Oh, here it is. Vaccines.gov/search. Let me put it in the chat. You can go there and find, you put in you insert your zip code, and you can find out where you can get Novavax. You can find out about all of them, but Novavax is now listed. Okay, so yeah, somebody's got it up already.
It's me.
Thank you, Michelle. Yes. All right. You on it. Look at you, Michelle. On it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Blessman. And then also
thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
So you see Novavax is down there, age 12 and above. Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to put your zip code in, and then it'll tell you which pharmacies will have it, and if it's how far it's away from.
Okay.
What we found last week was some zip codes, even though they were in middle of or outside of Atlanta, Georgia, they still had to drive about 18 miles maybe to get to the pharmacy that had the actual Novavax.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, so when we talk about going to school, I mean, I think the thing that is challenging now in this year is that you've got everybody kind of acting like it's gone, it doesn't exist, and they're not doing anything. And if you're going against the grain, trying to get young people who want to fit in, want to blend in, who don't want to, necessarily stand out or move against the crowd, trying to get them to do something that perhaps their peers are not doing. And so there's in a sense, there's peer pressure to just be lax and, or by example, just be lax, not do anything. So those peers who are able to wear their mask, who wear their mask in spite of, they're do I want to say braver or more courageous? But even for them, I said, wearing an ionizer can be just as useful. But that's the crux of it, is being in you got kids now who are in a situation where, if everybody's not doing it, they're going to question why should they do it, since everybody isn't doing it, and that's going to be the challenge. So one of the things that I know the teenagers that I've been talking to, One of the things that they said that they do is they wear their ionizers to protect their mom because she's at risk. So they understand it in terms of that. They don't want to bring anything home to their mother.
Hey, excuse me, Doc.
Yes.
So I sent a text to my soup, and
Mhm.
she communicated to me that in the district where I am, south suburb of Chicago, students and teachers are still required to quarantine should they contract COVID.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's good to know.
Mhm.
And I am still emailing teachers when their students must quarantine. So,
Okay.
so I guess, well, I haven't received one. So, but yeah, that's how they're communicating to the teachers that the student must quarantine.
Mhm.
I believe that the no quarantine, and I'll check that out while we're on. But I believe that that was the case for Chicago proper.
Mm.
I don't know if anybody else is familiar with the CPS.
Right.
Yeah, in fact, I'll email a couple of principals. I don't know if they'll be able to
Okay.
respond back to me, but what they do. Um,
So, so what the CDC is doing then is establishing some minimal level of response, and you can always exceed CDC requirements if your school district chooses to. That's what
mhm,
it sounds like is going on.
okay.
Does that seem, does that
Yeah,
seem reasonable? I
yeah.
mean, does that seem does that seem
Yeah.
like what's happening?
I just remember hearing on the news that they were saying that it was good that the the school districts, the CPS was not arguing back and forth this year with CDC. Um, and they were saying in the previous 2 years there was always conflict. So, so I'm gonna pose the question to a couple of Chicago administrators too
Neighbors.
to see what they have to say about the matter. But I do believe that that's where this first came. That it was from Chicago saying, well, not just Chicago. I thought CDC said that students all over the place did not have to quarantine. And I'll look that up while we're still on.
So CDC is pandering to the lowest common denominator, basically.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
They're calling for the CDC director to resign because she has been all over the place with any directions with,
Dr. Blessman,
Yes.
my
Hmm.
grandson goes to a Christian college there in Tennessee, and
Hmm.
so we were there moving him in, and of course, hardly anybody had masks. I live in Tennessee,
Hmm.
and so we were trying to, have him to, his mother's really want him to wear the mask, and sometimes he'll wear it and put it under his chin. But I like what you said earlier that it's like they have one that looks like the what you call it, earpiece like.
Yeah, let me hold on just a second. I'm gonna pull, I think I have it nearby. I'm gonna go get it. Hold on.
I should have the picture of
So
BenQ with
this
it
is
on.
this is what it looks like. You just wear it around. I don't know if you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna pull up that picture of Ben.
Oh, open it up.
With, uh-huh. So it just sits around
Oh
your
yeah.
neck.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, they're still available on Amazon.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it and put it in the link. And they're relatively inexpensive. They're like $20. They last for 15 hours on a single charge, which is not a whole lot, but you have to charge it up every day, just like you charge up your phone. It takes an Android cable.
Right.
But I got this for my son because I just felt like, if he lost it, I wouldn't get up.
Mm-hmm.
It was only $20. I wasn't going to get upset about it.
Right.
Or not too upset about it. And already he's lost 2 already. So over the last year. So, okay. Where's the entertainment?
He's showing that picture of Ben.
No, you go ahead. Yes, you can go ahead and show it. You have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't make it bigger.
Oh.
I can't make it bigger, but that's his.
Oh yeah. That's at the memorial service. So he's going to school with the other young man, Matrell, and they both have them on. Yeah.
Oh, I think that'd be just right for my grandson, because I don't think he liked the one around his neck, because I keep telling him about that. He said, okay, I gotta get from mom, give an excuse. I think that would work just fine for him.
Yeah. So, it just looks like,
yeah.
Okay. So if I don't know if you look closer, there's a guy that's sitting on the bench, and a woman with a blue pants on. She has on that a pendant style that sits. So that's part of, that's a pendant style. She's one of the people I talked to. They're the couple that drive to Florida every year. So they've been totally into the biosafety protocols. He's almost 80 and she's like 66. So,
wonderful.
So there were, a number of people in that group that, when they saw that we had them on. Now, before, this was the outside interment picture that was taken while we were outside, but we had been inside the chapel before that. And we were, in pews. It's a very small chapel. And we were not 6 feet apart. So there wasn't any social distancing, but we all had everybody in our household, had our stuff on, and then afterwards there was a reception at our home, and the repast, and we had more people come than we had sort of anticipated. So the house got kind of crowded, but everybody in our household had on their ionizers, and we're pretty confident, nobody's has come down with anything. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that we won't get sick. But I think those are the kinds of measures people will need to take when they're in school or, in offices. And schools are, those are large gathering places. I think about my child being at Hinsdale South High School, where there's 1,500 students. He's going to come into contact with at least perhaps 200 people every day, 5 days a week. So just the exposure alone is going to be much more significant than where he was in his previous school, where the whole school was just 75 students.
Yeah, because when my grandson when they had the big auditorium thing just before, I think last Thursday, it must have been 1,500 to 3,000 students returning.
Right.
It was a lot.
Right.
It was a lot.
Right.
He needs that because he has asthma too.
And again, I really applaud everyone, because we're all sort of taking the position that we're not trying to get this thing, or not trying to get it again. And that makes total sense. Because we don't have, there is no cute, we don't have we have a treatment for the symptoms. We don't have a cure for COVID yet. And we don't want to take the risk of the health damages that can come from repeated exposure. At some point, I guess we're going to talk about some of the research that's coming up now around repeated exposure to COVID and what they're noticing.
Dr. Blessman, can you put the
Yes.
brand of it in there and what the name of it is?
Okay, we'll do.
That ionizer.
The one that looks like headphones.
Either one.
Yep. Okay.
They'll probably keep up with it better, right? If it's around the neck.
Yeah.
Know that they keep up with it better. My sense is that this thing, no, if you're it's not going to work well if you're doing like gym or PE.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there have been times when I've used it in the gym and I've tucked it underneath the straps of my t-shirt or my sports bra, or I've taken a little rubber band and just put it around these two bulbular pieces, and it'll stay in place. Mm-hmm. So that's, when I'm doing something physically active, running, I'm in the gym, I'm working out, I'm on the treadmill or something like that. Then it kind of works. Yeah, it works okay. The pendant, just for just sitting in the classroom, works good for that too. These things do slide around. They give, they do all right. I think the reason why the kids like it is because it's not obvious that most people think it's a set of headphones. Right. So that it has so they just playing it off. Most people don't even ask,
Yeah.
So they're just thinking that, other people think it's just headphones or something of that nature.
Right. I'm glad. Thank you so much.
So Michelle, I have the link to the product. Can I text that to you and then you put it in the chat? Can I do it that way? Will that work for you?
Can you just type it in the chat? And I can.
I can't. It's a long.
Can she just type it in the chat? She said, "Can you send a video?"
I can't because it's a long email.
Yeah,
it's a long link.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You say like your baby something you're talking?
Oh, listen, we talking to chats. I've been with this group for like a year.
And I have it on my phone and I'm on Zoom on my iPad.
Oh, okay. So
that's
what's the name of it?
It just says portable air purifier wearable. I'm getting ready to send it to you, Michelle. And you can.
It says mobile.
I just sent it to you.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out if I can drill down to it. Did you send it to Miller?
Yes. I texted it to you.
Oh, Doctor, you could have.
Will that work for you? Oh, that won't work for you. Okay. You need an email? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. Which one?
You can do it to just tell me which one.
Just tell you which one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hotmail. That's the first one that came on.
Okay, that's fine. Give me a minute. Let me transfer it.
Oh. You know what? I think I figured out how to do it.
That's the device right there.
Yes, you got it.
That's the link in the chat.
Oh, it's out of stock? Oh no. Currently unavailable. Oh dang. Did I buy the last one? I just ordered it. Yep. I'm sorry. It's out of stock now. That will
Well,
hold on
they have
to
the
it.
other brands like Homedics. I wonder
They
if
have
they have some other
other
brands.
personal brands. I also bought this one. So the teen boys liked this one because it's black and it's unobtrusive. Let's see if it's in stock. But it's $40. So it's a little bit more expensive. But like I said, the teen boys liked it. It lasts much longer on a single charge. It is available.
On the
Uh,
Amazon, on the Amazon.
it's also from Amazon, correct? And I will email it to Michelle. Email this one to Michelle. Also, so if you want the Cadillac version or the okay, so what is okay, or the Rolls Royce version, airtamer airtamer.com, which is the one. This one lasts 450 hours on a single charge. This is great for if you don't want to have to, if you're doing international travel and you don't want to have to worry about pretty much charging your device.
You have that on the chat.
Mm-hmm. Yes, airtamer.com. I put it in the chat. And the air with the airtamer, they have done the research. So that one's way more. There's been more research about the capacity for removing viral particles. The other brands, it's the same technology, but Airtamer is the only one that really has done the background research on it.
The entertainment doesn't come like the one around you, like a hearing.
No, it's a pendant type.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I am going to put so if you want to see the test data, I'm gonna put the test data in the chat so you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Blessman. Thank you, Michelle.
So Michelle have the one. She got the
Yeah, so she's showing the Airtamer now, and in the chat I've put up the link to the test data. So they do have their smallest or their least expensive one is $79. I think this one you put in the batteries. It's not a rechargeable battery. Works on the watch batteries. So those little tiny CRM like 204, 3, whatever, little watch batteries go in the white one is $79. And then
the earplugs, earphones. You said they're out of stock right now, so it's no use in trying to
Yeah.
get those.
Well, just keep watching. Just keep watching. They'll come back.
Mhm.
They'll come back. And then the like the 149 options of the Air Tamer, uh, those are rechargeable batteries. And I particularly like mine because it has a clip on the back, so I can wear it around my neck, or I can clip it to my shirt or jacket. So that that can be a handy feature. Um, Michelle and I met with the owners of this company. They were around before COVID actually, and you saw a lot of their product or people wearing their product on planes a lot even before COVID. They were usually in the uh, tech magazines that the airlines usually carry, Hammer and Schlimmer, um, the or was it Sharper Image um, magazine that would frequently be in the air, in your seat pocket in the air, in the airplane. Um, but yeah, so a lot of those were sold, even before it was people wore them to protect themselves against um, primarily like flu and other kinds of viruses, or get rid of smells and odors, unpleasant odors and stuff while they were in close proximity in the airplane. So the technology has been around for a while, and they're now just beginning to market um, its ability to eliminate or to reduce viral load around your face. So, and hopefully they're going to come onto our platform and talk a bit about their product in more detail and answer questions that you might have. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You are welcome.
I did, Dr. Jones, I did look up the information regarding students, and I think where what we heard was not so much people with COVID did not have to quarantine, but people who had been exposed to
Oh,
COVID. That's the thing that's different. Before, you would have a student on the basketball team. I know last year one of the students contracted COVID, or maybe the coach did. But anyway, the next thing you know, all of the basketball team was quarantined. Not that all of them had it, but they were exposed to it because they were around the young man that 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 had it. So, from what I read here, with the new guidelines, they have to if it's positive, they have to quarantine for 5 days and then wear a mask for 5 days. And if they have not, if they've been exposed, they have a set of guidelines for what you should do if you have been vaccinated or boosted within the last 6 months, and then they have a set of guidelines for what you should do if you have not been vaccinated or received the booster shot and been exposed. But the main thing is that they want you to wear the mask for 5 to 10 days if you've been exposed, but not that you
mm,
have to quarantine. Only you're still quarantining if you have COVID.
COVID.
So that would be consistent with what
So,
my
so,
person said.
so, okay. So August 11th, it was updated.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. That's it.
Because we weren't crazy. That did exist for a hot minute. Maybe somebody got on that case. Okay. Because we were reading it. It's like, oh my God, you kidding me? So August 11th, they if you
Yeah, because that is just a little over 10 days ago. Yeah.
mhm. So if you've been exposed, yeah, wear a mask for 10. Yeah. Okay.
So that's not
But if
so
you test positive, you still
hard.
have to isolate. Okay. For 5 days. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the school situation. And I think that if you're leading people in the direction of
Which makes sense. Okay.
right, uh,
Mm-hmm.
leading people in the direction of wearing the air tamers and if you can carry an air cave or what have you. I think those things are still very good,
Right.
very prudent.
So the thing is that you're not going to, if you're at a school system, wearing an air tamer or an ionizer is not, they're going to want you to wear a mask, whether you have an air tamer or ionizer on or not, because they're just going to follow the rule. The rule says wear a mask, so okay, you got to
Right.
wear a mask.
Oh, I meant in terms of protection. People who
Yeah.
are expressing trepidation, if you can get your young people to use the hand sanitizer, like you said, and wear the ionizer or the
Every day, as if they are sitting next to somebody that possibly is positive.
which is a good chance. So that's the best. Again, we're still self advocating. As much as you can protect yourself, that's a good thing.
Mhm.
And try and just move forward like that. It's the best you can do.
Yep.
So I don't know if anyone has been on Ready One's website lately, but the Living Guard masks are there and they are $1.49
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
a piece. I don't know if anyone is likes that Living Guard technology or the way it fits. If you purchased one, it's $1.49.
Yeah, I would say don't
Yeah.
get the one with the valve, but just get with no valve. Get the ones with no valve.
Mhm.
Because the valve ones you can't wear those on a plane.
Mhm.
And a lot of places won't allow you to use the valve ones
I like this visual communication one.
Excuse me.
anyway. Yeah. Do you have the link for that on the chat for the ready one? Thank you. Okay. Well, we are at 8:10. Are there any other questions or any that people have for about their young person going back to school?
I brought my grandchildren masks that they can reuse, wash and reuse
Mhm.
for school because I didn't know the protocol or what direction their relative school systems we're going to take. I have one in North Carolina. It's in a very, very well, I did see him wear his mask last year, but again, I don't know what they're asking the kids to do this year. So I just sent them home with masks. But I had nice they would break loose in a day. So that was my contribution to their safety. And yeah, and we talked about the virus too. And they weren't they listened, and they didn't ask any questions, but they listened and obliged to what grandma was saying. We left it at that. So yeah, I pray for him every day in this crazy, crazy world. So before we go, Dr. Blessman, I'm gonna go ahead and